Alright, building a clutch for this Honda 600 engine I'm working on. This is the original clutch disc. You see it's very thin. The top is even thinner than the back, and it's almost hitting the rivets right here. Probably slip. But I have this other clutch disc that I had relined about 15, 20 years ago in San Jose by Superior Clutch and Brake. Don't know that they're still in business. I'm not going to be able to use this one. It's got a lot of rust pitting. It's going to have to be surfaced. Take it to the machine shop, and then they grind it. Remind them to grind off the ears as well, because if you remove surface here, you've got to remove it here. You can't just remove it here and go, oh, you're done. So you have to remove both places, the same amount. So I'm not using that one, and I'm definitely not using this one. It's a core now. But the good news is there's a fellow up in Canada that followed through on a lead for Ford tractor. I'll post some of that information. He found the exact same disc. Goes to a Ford tractor. It's identical. It's a 3/4 inch ID and 18 splines, and he has pictures of it on his car in the engine and laid out side by side. I'll post some of those pictures. This one I had rebuilt, and what they do is they take all the old linings off, and then they sandblast it probably, and then they repainted it. But when they repaint it, it gets paint inside the splines. So I had to sit here with a pick and scrape all the splines out. Alright, so I want to show you a few things about putting the clutch together. I had some clutch drums resurfaced because most of mine are rusty. Well, all of mine are rusty. But I took them in to get them resurfaced, and the guy said he couldn't do it because, and this is the factory bolt that they use on the grinding machine. He said that it stuck up too far through this hole on top of his cone, and the grinder would hit it. So I had to go home and make this adapter that sits right here in the top of the clutch, and then the bolt goes through, and then it's nowhere near the grinder. It's got almost 1/8 of an inch clearance. So then he was able to surface my flywheels. I did 3 of them. The other thing is you need to clean off the flywheel after it's been surfaced because they put oil on them. What I like to use is spot spray. Put the solvent in the top here, and then take off this, and you pressurize the can. And I usually put 100 pounds in it, even though the box says you could put 200 pounds max. So what I'm going to do now is clean this, put the new seal in, which is here, and then put it on. And these are the special bolts. They're shouldered somewhat, a little fatter in the middle, not like this. So there's 6 of those, and you want to inspect those really well and make sure they're not stretched right here at the where they go together, where the threads go to the shoulder, because I've had them actually break off in the clutch drum. And then these are the bolts that hold the whole thing, the clutch together. All right, here we go. I'm going to clean the clutch drum with the acetone. Like pretty coarse grinding marks on the flywheel. See what that sounds like. Not too bad. If it's really coarse, you might want to go over it with a conditioning disc to knock off the high spots. Yeah, I think I might do that actually. Alright, got my conditioning disc out. We're going to give this a little whirl and see what happens. Alright, ran the conditioner across it, and then I cleaned it off again with more acetone. And it looks a little bit smoother than it did. So I think that'll run fine. And now I'm going to put the new seal in it. It's 20 by 30 by 5. I just want to drive it down until it's flush. Alright, then I'm going to put some oil on. It's just regular motor oil. Put it on the back here. Add the oil can, and then make sure it's all the way around, and then put some of that on the inside of that one. Alright, so when you're putting the clutch on, there's a mark on the, it's just a dimple. I'll show you when it's not been painted. I paint a dot on it so it makes it easier to find. There it is. Very distinctive if it's got one. So it's a balancing mark. So what they do is when they balance these, they drill these holes in the back. So it takes material off this side so the whole thing's balanced. So I put a dot on it. So when I put it together, I put the dot up so it's easy to find again. Just wiggle it on like that. You line up, look through there and line up the holes. Get your special bolts out. Put 6 bolts in. Alright, cordless DeWalt with a 10. Now tighten it by hand. So to keep the engine from rotating when you're tightening it, you want to put a bar across. Use a screwdriver and just wedge it in there. Alright, then put your clutch disc on that you're going to use. And this is one I had relined. Just a wee bit, not a lot. Because you don't want it on the disc. Alright, then we're going to put the disc on. In several locations. To move the grease around. Oh, there's my dot right there. So I've already rebuilt the pressure plate. And I think it looks pretty good. All the best parts I have. So you just put it on, you set up the dots so that they're lined up. So they're about 32 millimeters. Basically, what you want on almost any bolt is a 1/2 inch engagement. Spring, I need to get this tightened down. With a new disc in it, this spring will almost be all the way flat. So there's 8 bolts here. You want to tighten these down so they're even pressure, and then start working around in the circle again. That one's tight, that one's tight, that one's tight, that one's tight. What's really fun is doing these on the side of the road for somebody. Alright, so that's the clutch. And before you put the cover on, you'll put some grease around here to reduce the wear. And let me show you the other thing I manufactured to turn these pressure plates with. Hold on a minute. So I made this this piece of aluminum here so I could get these things surfaced. This is the pressure plate. It's on the inside of this here. So I made this piece, and it's supposed to hold on with 3 Allen screws, but there's been a storage for so long the tape fell off and the Allen screws have been lost. So I got to find some more, and then I could take it to the machine shop and get all these resurfaced and put some clutches together. So it's got held on with 3 screws, and then you're going to say it looks lumpy, but it doesn't sit on that at all. It sits on the ears. So those sit on the table, and this piece of aluminum never touches the table on the grinding table. So there we go. That's the clutch install on the Honda 600 engine. There's your alignment dots right there. Look at this one. This one's really nice. Just took it out of an engine that's been sitting on my floor for a couple years. It's hardly any wear at all on that. Still needs to come apart though. It's rusty on this side. Came out of this motor here. This is out of a car that I had when I was living in California. There's the disc. Look how fresh these rubber dampers are. They're still clean, except for the red stuff. It's a good looking disc right there. I'm going to save that and use it on one of my own cars.